Hello dear friends, this is Anthony Ross with The Aging Technology, and today we're going to talk about spirituality and religion. But we're not going to discuss religion nor the spirituality. We're going to talk about its effects on slowing down aging and if there are some. So I've received this email from the lady. Natalie from Moscow. Let me translate because it's actually in Russian. Thank you so much for your book. I apply your techniques are very simple. Oh, and then she says that it's very interesting that how could I how to translate that? How could I forget to mention about the most powerful, how could I forget to mention about the most powerful element of slowing down aging is the power of a prayer. Good point. Let's talk about that. Well, first of all, disclaimer. We're not here to endorse or discredit any religious practice, any spiritual practice. We're not here to approve or disapprove any of that. Simply, we're going to discuss of its effect on slowing down the aging. The question is, do religious or spiritual people have some sort of advantage or disadvantage in terms of prolonging life? Do they actually live longer, and why? Well, before we even discuss anything, the answer is yes, but by a very, very small margin, which frankly surprised me, and I will explain to you later why, because I would assume that yes, they would have lived longer, but we're going to touch on it just a little bit later. Just stay with me. A little bit of historical information. Over 5,000 years ago, Lord Krishna lived till 125 years old. Somebody says 126, okay? Then Prince Siddhartha, Buddha, lived until 80 years old. Muhammad, pronounced Muhammad, he lived until 60 years old. Three holy persons, such a large range of lifespan does not give us much information. In fact, how it's even possible to measure something like this? For instance, I can't even imagine how it's possible to get statistical data, because how do we measure? Do we measure a religious country versus non-religious country? Do we measure religious people within one country versus non-religious people within the same country? How? And even that might not be a lot of help, because if we take a look at numbers, for example, USA is considered to be more religious by, let's say, Sweden or even Japan. Yet those nations statistically outlive us. In Sweden, average age is 81. In Japan, 82. In United States, in more religious United States, it's only 78.5. So Japan outlives us by almost 4 years. Go figure. Also, if we consider, let's say, some extremely religious country, some of those countries we consider third world countries, and their medical care is extremely low and non-advanced. Their lifespan is much lower than ours, but not because of their level of religiousness, if I can say so. It's simply because non-advanced medicine. Interesting thing that with the increase of technology, with increase of medical technology, the religious level of those countries usually drops, yet average lifespan goes up. As you can see, once again, not a lot of help right here. Now, let's return back to me mentioning that I was extremely surprised when I've learned that religious people and spiritual people do not live longer. They do, but by incredibly small margin. You see, what made me think was this. All those practices, religious and spiritual, engages in, if it's a religious practice, they pray. If it's spiritual practices, then they meditate. Usually praying and meditation engages what we call stillness. Frankly, I don't know a lot of people who meditate or pray while kicking a punching bag or exercising. Theoretically, it's possible, but not very practical. Stillness. We sit down, we kneel, we even lay down. We calm our body, we calm our thoughts, we clear our mind at the only one discriminative thought, or in case of the meditation, non-thought. Some master meditators can simply shut down all internal talking to an extent that they can be without thinking anything at all. Great skill, incredibly great skill. So this stillness or prayer by itself, once again, we're not talking about the religious aspects or even the spiritual aspects. We talk about simple physicality, how it affects our body, because we consider it slowing down aging here. It has an incredible health benefits. Stillness will slow your blood pressure. Stillness will regulate your hormones in the body. Stillness will regulate your breathing. Stillness will regulate a chemical exchange in the body. All of those effects are extremely positively healthy. That will surprise me, that people who pray or meditate seemingly should be much healthier than somebody who doesn't. And it turns out to be not so. So that brings us to a very interesting conclusion. My conclusion. Tell me, what are your thoughts? That unless you do something very specific to de-aging, to slowing down aging, fact that you're a religious person and you pray, fact that you're a spiritual person and you meditate, does not give you an advantage in terms of slowing down aging. These are my thoughts. I'm just sharing them with you. Tell me what you think. In fact, I would love to hear your opinion. On the left corner, right there, you will find a button subscribe. Click on subscribe. We're going to talk on our channel about all aspects of slowing down the aging. Of course, if you want to read my book called The Aging Technology, you are more than welcome to do so. Book talks about the psychological techniques, how to reset your subconscious mind in order to prolong our life. Very simple techniques, yet extremely powerful. Invite your friends, leave comments. I would love to hear from you. And of course, as always, let's live longer, happy and healthier. This is Anthony Ross.